Yo, I am the Foul Hooked Whitey. I'm back. This is episode 1. The King is dead. This is also our first podcast of the 2026 season. And I got to admit, I'm excited about all the potential rants that the Foul Hooked Whitey can do this year. Although, I've noticed now, I've been sober for 6 months, California sober. And sadly, I noticed that the longer I'm sober, the less entertaining I can be. Are we witnessing the fall of the most dynamic waiter and boot company in our sports history? I'm talking about Simms Fishing Products, the king. And the reason that Simms is the king is because there's very few vendors out there that have fucking dominated an important category as far as equipment in our sport. Like Simms. Dominated. New England Patriots dominated. But before any of that, Fly Fishing Nielsen ratings came in. And finally, after all this time, the Foul Hooked Whitey is gaining some traction. We went from 2 global listeners to 5. And if you're a math major, which I'm not, they don't teach math at Bong Hint University. But if you are a math major, that's like a bump of 150% growth in just a matter of a couple of weeks. So to our audience of 5, thank you for being here and thank you for listening. I witnessed something on Instagram the other day that I got to be straight. It kind of shocked me. And it shocked me because of a trend that has continued to persevere when it comes to the optics, the opinion of Simms Fishing Products. This video was shot in a fly shop, and it was two gentlemen on ladders. And what they were doing was they were hanging in their shop a new Squala sign. Squala, waders, boots, sportswear, outerwear. And in the next shot, after they hung the Squala banner, they showed them taking down the Simms banner. And I'm just like, whoa. I mean, I'm sure this is a legit shop. This is a significant shop. And obviously, what surprised me, it had nothing to do with this fly shop's decision to switch their wader and boot loyalty to a different vendor. I mean, let's face it, Squala has certainly earned a place at the table in terms of their young reputation as well as the quality of their waders and boots. So a shop switching to them or bringing them in addition to another vendor that sells waders and boots, that's not a surprise. That's understandable. But it really blew me away at how they wanted to highlight not only raising the banner of Squala, but also taking down the banner of Simms. And I just, that was interesting to me, and that surprised me because I got to admit, I honestly, as a fly shop owner and as a retailer in this sport, I don't get the kicking of Simms. I really don't. I mean, I don't understand it. I live this sport in the retail realm. So selling waders and boots and talking to consumers and fly fishing is about waders and boots is just what I do on literally a daily basis. And, I've mentioned this in previous podcasts, the market dynamic has changed dramatically for everybody. There's so many different vendors out there, it's a little tough to keep track. But rarely in my almost 20 years of being in this sport professionally, rarely have I ever seen a fly shop or a business make such a point to highlight a vendor they're choosing not to carry anymore. And the Foul Hooked Whitey's never seen this before. There's been some dudes that have been on the fringe kind of going off on this or going off on that. But when it came to this decision, which this fly shop that posted this video, they're not the only ones. I've seen a number of similar public business announcements saying, we're done with fucking Sims. I've never seen a more public exodus of a vendor than I'm witnessing right now. This fly shop that posted this video, I'm sure they're legit as fuck. At minimum, this video showed some balls, which I like. The problem with this is that there is some hypocrisy. And I'm not calling out this shop as hypocrites as much as I'm calling out the fly fishing consumer as hypocrites. When Sims got bought by a private equity group 5-6 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, whatever, there were people in my shop that were looking at me like, how has this changed things? And I'm sitting there going, motherfucker, this hasn't changed anything. Sims is a great company. This is a company that buys great companies. And that's all this shit was. Okay. Since I made those early statements, there's been plenty of drama and there's been plenty of ammo given to the naysaying community of fly fishermen out there to think that Sims isn't as great as they once were. And maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. I still think Sims is the king. Even with pressure from other quality vendors out there, Orvis, Squala, Patagonia, Grendon's. Those are all well-funded, heavy hitters in the industry that can take pokes at the king. With public sentiment the way it is right now towards Sims, coupled with the pressure of those other vendors in box sporting goods stores, in specialty flying tackle shops, it's just not the same game. And Sims has allowed them to get in on the beatdown. The hypocrisy, to me, in this whole process, is that this same shop that took this video down, this shop, if they've been around for any period of time, let's say a decade plus, they've made tons and tons and tons of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars on Sims, just like I have. But now they want to shut them down. Now they want to beat them down. Now they want to, embarrass them. Make it a public display of fuck Sims. And to me, that's the startling part in all of this, is that, like, everybody's kind of piling in on the king. And the reason this is surprising to me, Mr. Fly Shop Retailer, is because I sit in fly shops 6 days a week. And the people that buy Sims from East Rosebud Fly Shop in Billings and Thermopolis, they're not complaining. They're not complaining. I'm not getting waiters back right away because they leaked out of the box. I'm not getting $250 boots brought back because they're not wearing. I'm not getting that. I'm not seeing that. And trust me, I do plenty of volume. So the beatdown on Sims is surprising even for me. And I'll touch on this more in episode 2. The king is dead. I am the Foul Hooked Whitey, and I'm out.